Someone once said, the hardest part about everything happens for a reason is waiting for that reason to come along. I've started and stopped the opening sentence to this blog post no less than 5 times this week, which for me is quite unusual. Usually, when Thursday morning rolls around, I sit down and hammer out a draft for next week's post in under an hour. My theme in place, my thoughts are in order. It's usually an easy task. Not today. Today, quite ironically, I'm attempting to write about something that I'm not very good at myself, waiting. This is not to say that I'm not patient, just the opposite. I'm actually an extremely patient person. When I have a goal or an objective in mind, I'm quite happy to stick to the plan, even when the circumstances require that I take no action at all for an extended period of time. As long as I feel like I'm making progress, patience is my ally. Waiting, however, is something else altogether. The waiting room, as I've discovered, is the place you fall into when you lose patience. Let me say that again. The waiting room is the place you fall into when you lose patience. Waiting is a nasty little game you play with yourself when you could be putting your thoughts and energy to better use. A place where no chair seems comfortable and even your favorite sweater suddenly seems suffocating. And the more you try to wait, the harder it is to remain still until you just can't take it for one more second. And if you're a reactor personality type, you do what any reactor does when it overheats. You explode into action, frequently doing something rash that you later regret. But if you're a reflector personality type, you take all of this discomfort in stride and accept it for what it is. A sign that you do indeed need to take some kind of action, but the action you most need to take might well be to ask yourself why you're getting so stressed out about the situation in question in the first place. The more you try to wait, the harder it is to remain still. And more often than not, you will discover that it's your own inner voice, or what Julia Cameron, the author of The Artist's Way, fondly calls the critic, that needs a little help to see the situation more objectively rather than taking any outward action. And even in situations where outward action will be required, a reflector personality will still take time to sweep the waiting room inside themselves clean before deciding what to do, in order to ensure that they're not letting any personal bias or weakness cloud their ability to see the situation clearly and formulate a wise course of action. Having said all of this, let's face it, even the best of us will lose their patience now and again, but there's only so long that you can wait around when you do. Patience, as they say, is a virtue and requires you to look at life with both eyes open and both ears open as well. Listening to others for their advice, hopefully well-intentioned advice, can sometimes help, but there's a trick. You have to listen to yourself. No one knows you better than you. So, what's the takeaway? Being impatient comes with life for all of us. It's not a bad thing, just frustrating at times. But recovering it always starts by reminding yourself, this too shall pass.